Hey y'all, it's your girl Ashley Camille here at Fifth House Bloom, and I am here to read to you the Mercury retrograde in Pisces care guide. If you are returning to this space, thank you. And if you are new here, thank you as well. And I welcome you. I am a diviner and a luminary, and Fifth House Bloom is a space to explore the erotic through divination. I am trying a little something different here where I will read the articles that I write. So let me know what you think. I do have the article available since I'm reading, and if you are watching this on Substack, you can just read it below. If you are watching this anywhere else, you can subscribe to my Substack in order to read this transcript article. I'm not quite sure. But I think that's it. I won't be adding anything else other than my little mistakes because, baby, I am not about to edit this. So let's get into it. Backstroke, the Mercury retrograde in Pisces care guide. Mercury is the planet of thought, communication, and translation, always in motion towards somewhere. It takes an idea and carries it, pushing raw concept towards form, turning the invisible workings of the mind into something that can be received and understood by the world. There is a destination in Mercury's nature, a need for transmission and articulation. The messenger is always in service of an arrival, given that drive and an orientation towards the translatable, the expressible. Mercury can feel a little lost in the edgeless waters of Pisces. In Pisces, Mercury is in detriment, which means it is operating in an environment that does not naturally support the way it moves, requiring it to navigate differently than it would somewhere more conducive to its nature. But this is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, this tension can be a gift, making possible something that could not have been conceived anywhere else that was more easeful. And in Pisces, where divine inspiration moves freely, we are left with the wildest translations of our imagination, art that speaks through us, and channel transmissions. Surrender is not a word we often associate with Mercury, but in Pisces, it becomes the very thing that makes progress possible. Mercury is comfortable moving between worlds and taking more than one path, but its objective is still to get from point A to point B. Pisces, on the other hand, wants to move through the whole alphabet simultaneously, dissolving into the spaces between each letter, less concerned with the destination and more enchanted by the awe experienced along the way. The messenger is in the waters now, and this is not the transit for thinking your way through things. Information is gained through faith and attuning to the unseen intelligence of the divine. Logic will weigh you down as you tread. Dreaming, imagination, and prayer are the sacred pathways of knowing. Much more than just practices, they are spiritual faculties that engage our innate capacity to access what cannot be reached through reason alone. Dreaming expands the limits of our waking mind, delivering truth in symbols and scenes. Imagination perceives what is not yet visible, outlining the form before it has shape. Prayer attunes us to the divine so that we may shift the reality world, the material world, and our realities. This transit is an opportunity for communion. Mercury stationed retrograde in Pisces on February 26, 2026, turning the currents inward. When Mercury or any other planet goes retrograde, it appears to move backward through the sky from our vantage point. Energetically, it is less a reversal and more of a turning inward, which leaves us with an invitation to revisit what may not have been fully received, fully processed, or fully translated the first time around. In Pisces, things are already nonlinear and diffused, so there's a potential for a retrograde to add a little bit of chaos. But what we are more likely to experience is depth. Added pressure pushing us to be fully submerged in what is happening beneath the more comfortable surface. Baby, as a Pisces rising, I am feeling it. Before it reaches my first house, it's taking me through there, backstroking in my 12th house. I have already been dealing with some unprocessed feelings on top of coming off of a very overwhelming period of travel, work, personal loss, and urgent family matters that have kept me insulated. This ain't true no more. Things are finally slowing down, and I'm just now having a moment to be still enough to acknowledge my grief. While in my personal and professional practice, I do not conflate the two. It is not uncommon in more modern astrological interpretations to associate Pisces with the 12th house. Traditionally, the 12th house, is a changing place to find yourself, or challenging place to find yourself. It is a reckoning. It represents prisons and hospitals, institutions, and the places where we are held in confinement and cannot easily escape. It is the house of hidden enemies, of loss and sorrow, and the things we would rather not deal with, and the things that will deal with us whether we are ready or not. Here we must yield to our circumstances and succumb to ourselves. But this does not mean defeat. Though this house is cloaked in darkness, within it lives something else. Fertile soil and a liminal threshold. It is a realm that forces us to face what needs to be done so that what is ready to be born can quietly gather itself, much like a cocoon. What is shared between Pisces and the 12th house is a profound spiritual intelligence that holds darkness alongside a deep unconscious knowing. It is a place before form where becoming is already in process. Truthfully, I'd rather not. And yet here I am. The other day, I was moving through some small acts of care and consideration that I hadn't realized have really been carrying me through a difficult season. And it inspired me to write this guide for anyone else who might need some support through the current cosmic currents. I offer this as a starting point and not as a prescription, nor should it serve as an exhaustive list. Please make sure to take into account your own chart, your own experience, and your own season. Take care, y'all. For real. All right. Number 1, release the need for answers. There is something about uncertainty that makes us want to reach for answers. Whether it be closure, definition, or just a clear why, it is tempting to look for a sense of control by seeking information. During Mercury retrograde in Pisces, when the waters are already disorienting, that reaching becomes more urgent but even less reliable. As difficult as it is, we must resist the urge to know and lean into the feels. This season is pulling us towards immersion, not resolution. For me, that looks like laying off a horary astrology for personal use. Horary is a branch of astrology dedicated to answering specific burning questions. Something like, will I get this job? Or is so-and-so cheating? You cast a chart for the moment a question is asked, and the chart will give you timing, detail, and a clear indication of outcome. It is a tool designed to tell you definitively what is going to happen and drive you crazy if you have an anxious mind. Baby, I am mean with the horary charts, and I am talking about down to the exact date of an outcome. And as much as I love it as a tool, chasing definitive answers during a season that is actively asking us to put those questions down and tune into our intuitive faculties of discernment will be working against everything this moment is offering. Instead of looking for outcomes, I am leaning into the support of my spirit team, asking for direction and what I need to focus on in order to move through what is happening. We might also ask, what needs my attention right now? What am I not seeing? What would support me in staying present? Question or number two. Question the question number two. This one is connected to the first point, but it deserves its own place. As a diviner, I spend a significant amount of time discussing what my client would like to ask. The question someone leads with and the question that actually needs to sit with are rarely the same things. Take, for example, is so and so the one? I mean, if you have to ask, there's already a lot of digging into we could do there. Underneath the question is usually something more like, why am I ignoring my ambivalence? Am I settling? Do I actually even want this? There's so much more guidance available to us when we are willing to go a little deeper and bring that felt truth to our conscious awareness, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. This came up for me personally when I received a text message from a friend that I assumed was AI generated, and I felt the way. I was 2 seconds away from asking them if it was, while completely ignoring the sweet sentiments of the message. Instead, I paused and sat what was actually happening underneath my instinct to confront it. Then I asked, why does this bother me? Is this activating something else for me? What was I hoping for instead? And what dynamics are happening in this relationship? Keeping it brief and cute here. This being a loved one, the truth was I just wanted to feel loved on. And while I don't know what the outcome would have been, I can't see how coming at them for how they wrote a text message would bring me any closer to my desire to feel connected to them. Ask your question and pause. Feel what comes up and allow it to guide you to the root question. But remember, it's not the season to know. Let your question be the answer. Number 3, Virgo medicine, process over perfection. While this transit is occurring in Pisces, the sibling sign of Virgo offers supportive medicine to ground us during the retrograde season. Pisces asks for surrender, while Virgo demands refinement. Shared amongst the axis is devotion, which Virgo accesses through dedication to the process. If this period of time feels disorienting, leaning into the processes and practices that offer a sense of order can create space for us to attend to dissolution. As simple as it is for me, that is making the bed. One afternoon, my daughter made the bed for me. When she came to let me know, she said, I can tell something is wrong with you because I went in your room and the bed wasn't made. And she was not wrong. Making my bed is an action that anchors me into the presence of the day, no matter what awaits me. There are many things I can't control, but I can tuck them sheets in and give myself some comfort through the act. During this transit, the shore may feel out of reach, but Earth is always with us. While it might require more effort, remember the gifts of Virgo. When the waters are high, what small, committed acts can you return to that bring you into presence? Elaborate ritual is not required, only that the actions be meaningful and support your inner connection. Commit to reminders that you may tend to yourself through uncertainty. Number 4, Pisces medicine with the waters. Pisces is a water sign, and during this transit, the element of water is one of the most accessible tools available to us. Boundless, receptive, cleansing, deeply connected to the spiritual and the subconscious, water has a way of moving through and clearing what accumulates in ways that nothing else can quite replicate. This one is simple, y'all. Use water. My partner is always teasing me about how low my water intake is, or about my low water intake, attributing any mild inconvenience I have to a lack of hydration. And he probably isn't wrong. And you think as someone with heavy water placements, I know better. And I don't. But I'm not playing during this transit. I already rely heavily on water for my spiritual hygiene and practices, but I've had to increase intensity and frequency, practices that I won't share here, but do what works for you. I can't say drink water, be near water, use water to divine, to cleanse, to cover. Be with the water. Number 5, focus on the re. This last one I'm sure you've heard before, but it's worth repeating. Retrogrades get a bad reputation, but they are an essential period of time that prepares us for integration. They are a chance to get clarity and direction and to make sure we are on an aligned course. Retrogrades are a great checkpoint and a chance to everything. Review, redo, return, reorganize, reflect, redistribute. Did I miss any? And while it might not be familiar or easy, a Mercury retrograde in Pisces is a good time to return to rest, dreaming, imagination, and prayer. With Mercury's desire to transmit, they are sacred tools that translate the divine into material being. Here lies creative source. How do you access it for yourself? How do you listen? This is a moment to reconnect with spirit and practices that facilitate communion. If these divine acts feel disconnected or inaccessible to you, this is an opportunity to fill into the blocks without trying to establish certainty or definition. I offer these questions for reflection. Take them to your dream space. Speak them in your prayers. Bring them to your altars. Remember, this is not the time to know in a logical sense. Move at the pace of the divine and allow yourself to know through spirit. So as we move through Mercury retrograde in Pisces, ask yourself, what would you create if you trusted the dream as much as you trusted the plan? What is spirit offering you that is ready to be received? What are you dreaming that is ready to be held in prayer? What is your imagination revealing to you that is ready to be accepted as possibility? What would change if you treated your inner life as sacred territory? All right, y'all. The rest is running through the transits, and you can find that in the Substack article. And I am done. I'll see you next time, and I return this energy to you. Happy retrograde.